I'm attracted to what's attracted to me. I don't know. If they like me, I like them back.
I'd rather fuck with a little boy before I fuck with these lame ass. Bro, this is an actual sickness.
The streaming world has always been accused of harboring predators, but even the worst of them never dared to commit their crimes in plain sight. That is, until the person we're about to talk about. Meet Nini Nastii, a self-proclaimed streamer and influencer whose entire career has been nothing but a chaotic train wreck. From baiting fake affairs with bigger streamers like Kai Cenat just to get clout.
Kai was cheating on Gigi.
No, he was not. No, he was not. No,
Kai Cenat definitely put that raw in me.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, 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 no.
And he been ate this.
No, 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 no.
Yes, he did.
To being exposed for letting her 7-year-old son drink alcohol live on stream.
We gotta do something. I'm with it, you heard? And I don't.
Nini's antics are outright disturbing, but the darkest and most vile thing she ever did out of all was her relationship with a famous streamer called Zaay. For context, Zaay was only 17 years old, maybe less when he had a relationship with Nini, more than 7 years younger than her age.
Nigga, my wasn't even fully done growing yet when she me. I was 17 years old again. You feel me? I don't give a
But even that pales in comparison to what came next. After her secret relationship with Zaay became public, Nini herself admitted, on stream, that she let him pee in her mouth during sex. Not only is that disturbing on its own, it also highlights a darker side of Nini's manipulation. Zaay was only 17 at the time, clearly too young and immature to make sound judgments, and Nini exploited that for her own advantage. And somehow, it gets worse. Years later, Nini had the audacity to compare Zaay to her new boyfriend, and Zaay clapped back, saying he was just a kid at the time. His body wasn't even fully developed.
She said his shit bigger than yours. Gang, I don't give a f what she said, first of all. Second of all, my even fully done growing yet when she me. I was 17 years old again.
But this is just the tip of Nini's iceberg. Behind all the glamorous influencer, there lies serious accusations, neglectful parenting, and outright narcissistic behaviors. Nini, aka Nini Nastii, is a 27-year-old streamer with over 22,000 followers on Twitch. She first appeared around 2020, streaming alongside popular Twitch creator Silky and his friend Big X. Outside of Twitch, she stays active on Instagram and Twitter, where her posts often focus on inappropriate themes and attention-grabbing photos. But some of this crossed the line, like the time she tried to push her unusual interests onto her followers. And it wasn't just a one-time thing. She's repeatedly inserted those interests into her streams, making it impossible for her audience to ignore. Up until then, most of her antics could be dismissed as cringe, but relatively harmless. That changed when she dragged one of the biggest names on Twitch into her drama. Nini suddenly claimed that Kai was sleeping with her, despite there being no romantic relationship between them. What made the situation even messier was the fact that Kai was already in a public relationship with the famous TikTok star Gabriella Laya when Nini claimed to have slept with him. Despite her repeated attempts to bait a response from either Kai or his girlfriend, both of them stayed silent, making Nini look even more ridiculous. Still, the claims stirred up controversy, even getting picked up by outlets like World Star. From the start, it was obvious what this was, a desperate clout grab. Nini was throwing wild accusations just to get a reaction. Instead of letting it die, she doubled down, claiming that Kai's girlfriend had personally reached out to her asking for receipts. Nini then bragged about showing her DMs with Kai, but the so-called evidence turned out to be a single line of text that didn't even suggest anything sexual.
Show proof. It says, okay, I'll be ready. Just let me know when you call in my black truck. I've been trying to figure out, like, when him and Gigi got together, because he...
But this wasn't even the first time Nini embarrassed herself over Kai Cenat. Back in 2022, while streaming with Silky and another creator, they asked her a simple question. Why did you block Kai on Instagram? Instead of answering, she dodged it completely and spiraled into one of her trademark rants, making it obvious she had no real explanation.
Oh, and they blocked him.
I don't care what nobody says. If he blocked me, then he blocked me. Cool. Don't care.
Oh, nah.
No, because he didn't, but okay.
All right, so word to who?
Word to my daughter.
Eventually, Nini put out what she called an apology video, but it was anything but. She opened by admitting her actions were wrong and that she shouldn't have said those things, but almost immediately she undercut it by blaming it on being drunk. as if intoxication could somehow excuse spreading lies that had the potential to ruin someone else's life.
I feel like I need to say my piece. I'm gonna stop trolling. We gonna move on from this and whatever. So what I said was messy. It was uncalled for, unprovoked. People was minding their business, and it was literally no reason for me to say what I said. I mean, there was obviously a reason. The reason was I was intoxicated and not in my right mind. And when I get that way, unfortunately, if I feel played with, I feel like I have to prove my point. So when Zay was next to me, he was kind of antagonizing me in a way like, oh, it didn't happen. So I felt like I needed to prove it. It was cringy.
She even tried shifting the blame onto another streamer, claiming she only showed proof because they said her story was false. She framed it as if she was being antagonized and forced to respond, but that falls apart instantly when you realize she was the one who dragged the whole situation into the spotlight in the first place. If she hadn't made the claim out of nowhere, nobody would have accused her of lying at all. One person commented pointing this fact out. She felt antagonized because he was saying it didn't happen, but nobody would have known it if she didn't say anything, including Zay. So you just wanted a moment. As if this is not bad enough, Nini proceeded into saying that what she said was absolute facts, and then continued the same dirt-naming Kai like she did before, contradicting the very thing she apologized for.
I asked about the timeline, and I gave her the timeline, showed her whatever she asked to see, told her Mans wasn't on no weird shit after the situation. Like, since they popped out, Mans was never on no weird shit. You know, I could admit that I was being a little petty.
And the hypocrisy doesn't stop there. Even after calling it an apology, Nini went right back into making sly comments about Kai on different streams, almost like she couldn't let the clout go. Instead of walking away, she doubled down again and again, turning what could have been a one-time slip into a recurring smear campaign. Though it is very clear Nini is trying to get some clout here. What makes this even more ridiculous is that she would eventually admit that she stirred up the pot because she wanted something from Kai. In her own words, she said Kai should have stepped in and done something, and that's the thing that upset her. So not only was this never about facts, it was about her craving attention and getting a reaction.
I could admit that I was being a little petty, only because it definitely was deeper than wanting to be known as a... When somebody knows something personal about you as a man, you should have stepped in, and you played like you was going to step in, and you didn't. Empty promises was made. So I just didn't like that. Obviously, I'm grown and smart enough to know that was a way to go about it.
And when you break it down, everything we've talked about so far is nothing but a clout-chasing, self-depreciating act. She's exposing herself more than she's exposing Kai. Because even if, just for a second, you take her claim as true, it still makes her look bad. There's no flex in saying you hooked up with someone who's already in a relationship. That's not clout. That's you admitting to being the side piece and trying to spin it like an achievement. But even this pales in comparison to what she did next. See, Nini has 2 kids, both of whom are less than 10 years old. Probably around 6 or 7, and Nini has been caught multiple times doing very nasty things to these kids, like this time where she literally allowed her son to drink alcohol on livestream, and she didn't even bother to stop the kid from drinking too much, which is telling that she doesn't care about them whatsoever.
Right now? Or you gotta calm down?
Yeah.
We in New York?
Yeah.
Alright.
And this wasn't just any drink either, it was Don Q Passine rum, a liquor that's about 30% alcohol by volume. To put that in perspective, that's 5 to 7 times stronger than a regular beer. One shot of Don Q has as much alcohol as an entire can of beer, meaning even a sip for a child that young is extremely dangerous and could cause alcohol poisoning. As if this isn't deranged enough, Nini doubled down and showed us how her parenting really is. One time, while smoking weed with her friend in the car, she let her kids climb in while the smoke was still lingering inside. For anyone who doesn't know, secondhand cannabis smoke carries many of the same toxic chemicals as tobacco smoke, things like carbon monoxide, tar, and carcinogens. For developing lungs, especially in children, this can trigger asthma, weaken their immune system, and even affect brain development over time. In short, she was willingly exposing her kids to poison just because she couldn't separate her habit from her parenting. But even this pales in comparison to what she did next, because this is where the most deranged and outright vile thing Nini ever did begins. Back in 2021, Nini had a boyfriend called Zybron James, who also happened to be a famous streamer. Most of her Twitch streams at that time featured him, and while she was publicly streaming with him, behind the scenes she was sleeping with him. But that isn't even the real issue here. The whole problem lies in Zaay's age. At the time Nini and him were together, Zaay was much younger, around 17 years old, possibly even younger.
This is a joke. You can see me laughing. I said it in the Twitch chat on purpose. You have had with 17-year-olds, multiple of them, more than one. Like, what are you telling me? More than one. Like, It's not a joke when you're really doing this. This is really what's going on. Like, how is this a joke?
Now, some people might argue, well, maybe they weren't actually having an affair when Zaay was just that young. But that excuse doesn't hold water because Zaay himself confirmed it. On a live stream, Zaay openly said that yes, they did have an affair.
What she said, first of all. Second of all, my even fully done growing yet when she me. I was 17 years old again.
And if you thought that was bad, it somehow gets worse. Years later, Nini was deranged enough to compare Zaay to her new boyfriend, to which Zaay replied, saying he was just a A minor back then. His body parts weren't even well developed. Not only that, Zaay's girlfriend, the famous TikToker Cooking with Kaya, spoke out too, saying just how disturbing and deranged the relationship was. But it doesn't stop there. Soon after, Nini's private chat logs were leaked, and it was as messy as it gets. In those messages, she openly said she was more attracted to young boys than she is into older men, calling older guys lame old men. And when someone called her out, she didn't deny it. She doubled down, confirming that was her actual preference.
We need to do something, please. I'd rather with a little boy before I with these lame ass niggas. Bro, this is an actual sickness. Alright? This is an actual sickness. We have plenty of proof of her on 17-year-olds.
And if that isn't enough, Nini's obsession with Zaay became painfully obvious. Multiple times she admitted that she desperately wanted her relationship with him back. Like this one time where she was literally crying on the phone saying she only wanted her relationship with him again. And people watching this couldn't believe what they were hearing. Imagine a grown woman crying and begging for a minor to come back into her life. It was pathetic, disturbing, and downright sick.
It's mad long. It's been mad long. And all I want is my relationship back and for it to work.
Even worse, she tried to flip the narrative by claiming Zaay played with her feelings, as if she wasn't the adult in the situation. And then she doubled down by saying she wished bad on him for the rest of his life, literally meaning it.
And that's exactly why I be wishing you the first.
I don't be lying.
What possesses you to play with a feeling?
What's the
reason? When I wish you get HIV and never get cured, get AIDS, all this I don't give a because you hurt my feelings, so I'm I just want to wish you the worst. That's how this works. Because why you playing with a feelings? What's the reason? You think that shit is cute?
No, I just I don't even
that's
do
why
it.
That's why HIV is spreading.
And just when you think there's no lower point, there is. Because Nini actually tattooed Zaay's name on a semi-private part of her body. And if that wasn't insane enough, she also went around claiming that one of her kid is his. Talk about scraping the absolute bottom. This wasn't just wrong, it was deranged, manipulative, and criminal. Despite all the evidence out there making it crystal clear how messed up Nini really is, she still had the audacity to get on stream and denied everything. When her then boyfriend flat out, who said that everybody knows her for being the P word, she snapped instantly. You could see it in her face. She got defensive, loud, and aggressive, like denial alone was going to make people forget.
Everybody know you for f***ing a 17-year-old. Shut the f***.
Now maybe she freaked out because it all came up live in front of an audience, or maybe not, because literally the next day, on another stream when her chat got absolutely flooded with the same allegations, Nini didn't back down, she doubled down. She literally stood up and shouted this.
How old is he?
And honestly, that's where it just becomes unbelievable. Who has the guts to basically plead guilty to their own disturbing behavior in front of thousands of viewers, as if confidence somehow makes it okay? That's Nini in a nutshell. Shameless to the core, almost proud of the things that should have embarrassed her into silence. But even after that circus, things got darker, because in addition to having an inappropriate relationship with Zaay, it later came out that she even made Zaay pee in her mouth.
Why? Alright, no. Where is she? She let a 17-year-old on my soul. What?
Oh!
So she didn't do that?
Wait, she might have just spit on you.
So she didn't do that? Nini, you didn't do that? You didn't let a 17-year-old pee in your mouth?
And of course, when she was confronted again, she went straight back into the denial mode. This time she even swore on her own daughter's name.
Nini, you didn't do that? My daughter's life again. Swear. You be jumping around like, that's why it's lit. That's why it's lit.
Now, normally a mother swearing on their child is like the ultimate trust me card. People hear that and immediately take it seriously. But not with Nini, because just a few weeks later she went on stream and admitted it herself. No hesitation, no shame, nothing. And the craziest part, she didn't even seem embarrassed for lying in the first place, let alone for dragging her daughter's name into it. But the absolute worst moment came when she was confronted live by someone she was streaming with. Instead of taking responsibility, Nini tried to excuse it all with one of the most ridiculous explanations you could ever imagine.
I mean, my on my period, so I feel like it equates. It goes hand in hand. If I got pissed on the was eating my period, so word that part. Yeah.
Like seriously, this was the moment where any normal person would have just stopped talking, but not her. She'll twist anything to dodge accountability. So far, it's very clear that Nini is a full-on narcissist who doesn't care about anyone but herself and whatever fantasy she's chasing. And nowhere is that proven more than in the way she responds to all these allegations. In one live stream, instead of showing any remorse, she actually tried to spin it as if she was the prize. She said she's with these young boys because her body is too beautiful, and they just can't help but be obsessed with her.
And that's just that, bitch obsessed with me. All you can talk about is the fact that I a nigga who was 5 years younger than me. Oh mother, well bitch, the nigga was of age. I'm so mother sorry that the nigga wanted to eat my not yours. I don't know what the nigga was on my dick. I don't know what to tell you. The nigga was obsessed with me. I don't know what to tell you.
And if that wasn't delusional enough, she fired back at the people calling her out by saying, "You're only angry because your 10-year-old brother wants to sleep with me."
They like me, I like him back. I don't know. It's just like at the end of the day, your 10-year-old brother wanna me. You're 11.
Oh no!
Like, just think about that for a second. She didn't deny it. She didn't defend herself. She flat out admitted she goes after these young boys, and then turned around and mocked the people calling her out by saying their 10-year-old brothers want her to. That isn't confidence. That's derangement dressed up as narcissism. It's the type of audacity you only see in someone so obsessed with themselves they think even their crimes make them desirable. And the scariest part? The same narcissism didn't just show up in her scandals with Zaay, it bled into every part of her personal life too, especially in the toxic disaster. That was her relationship with her ex-boyfriend, the well-known streamer Meltisliv. Nini repeatedly disrespected Melt, not only with words, but even going as far as physically punching him on stream.
Mad cringe.
Look.
And don't forget what you said downstairs. What are we talking about?
You at the age now?
I don't give a
mature.
I don't give a fuck what age I'm at. Because we're not going to talk about age. Is yours? Oh, you're not getting yours because it was about to get broken.
Don't touch me. I'm telling you, don't touch me, bro. Don't touch me.
I'm at the age what? You like 2 years younger than me. We talking about?
I'm telling you this.
She also had no shame in throwing her affairs in his face, telling him about Kai and even comparing him to her exes, basically humiliating him over and over.
Kai here. Hold on, Kai. Send me an Uber. I'm sorry, though. I told Kai I was going to be here. Kai sent me an Uber.
Oh, you're weird.
How am I weird? Bro, how am I weird? Mel, you know I was in you. I would break my celibacy for Kai, though. Gangsta.
Get out.
Stop, leave me.
It didn't stop there. She constantly reminded him of how other men were better, treating him like he was disposable while still keeping him around. It was a toxic cycle of constant mistreatment, aggressive behavior, and relentless psychological torment. And that's the thread running through all of it. With her kids, with Zaay, with Meltisliv, it always comes back to the same thing, narcissism. Nini doesn't just chase clout, she feeds off control and attention and chaos. The lies, the abuse, the shock value antics, they're all just different faces of the same disorder. In the end, it's not about streaming relationships or even drama. It's about a woman so wrapped up in herself that everyone else is disposable. That's the real story of Nini Nastii.